In history, mankind has created some of the most horrific punishments imaginable. At the top of them are those punishments where death becomes a mercy. Lingqi, death by 1,000 cuts, ancient China. The victim is sliced piece by piece, but not allowed to die. The execution can last for hours, even up to 3,000 cuts. Scaphism, death by flies, ancient Persia. The victim is trapped inside a hollowed-out tree, with only the head, hands and feet exposed. They're force-fed milk and honey until diarrhea sets in, then covered in more honey. Flies, maggots and insects eat them alive slowly over days until they die in pain, rot and filth. The brazen bull, ancient Greece, a hollow metal bull with a man locked inside. Fire burns beneath its belly, roasting the person alive. Their screams echo through a pipe, sounding like the bull's roar. Death by the stake, a sharpened wooden stake driven from below, carefully avoiding the heart. The victim remains alive for hours, even days. Rat torture, medieval nightmare. A rat is trapped inside a cage placed against the victim's abdomen. The outer cage is heated. The rat has only one way out, and that way is through human flesh. But all of these are nothing compared to the punishment of an ancient being. Welcome back to I Can't Sleep. This is where fragments of nightmares are archived. Today we'll speak about one of the lesser-known entities, but one whose story rivals even that of Cthulhu. Long ago, before the continent of Mu sank beneath the ocean, the ancient Mu civilization feared and worshipped a great old one, Ghatanothoa. No one truly knows what Ghatanothoa looks like. Anyone who sees him becomes trapped. Not by him, but by their own gaze. Whoever looks upon his face turns to stone, like a mummy. But that is not death. Flesh turns to stone, the mouth stops trembling, the hands freeze in one final reach, but inside, the brain still lives. Consciousness remains, motionless, powerless, unable to scream. That person will live forever, inside a petrified shell, terrified, insane, within their own mind. I'm not sure this qualifies as punishment, because Ghatanothoa has no malice. This entity is the catastrophe. The ancient Mu lived in fear for generations until a man appeared. His name was Tiog, a priest and a sorcerer, a scholar learned in forbidden rites and ancient rituals. Tiog prayed and made contact with the elder gods, and one of them granted him a protective talisman. The talisman could block the gaze of Ghatanothoa. It would buy him time to seal the entity away forever. And who, you ask, gave him the talisman? That's right, Yog-Sothoth, an outer god omnipresent beyond good and evil. Sounds contradictory, doesn't it? But in Daoloth's extended mythos, Yog-Sothoth temporarily sided with good in the war between the elder gods and the Great Old One, the being who once aided humanity against Cthulhu and Ghatanothoa. I've always been fascinated by that talisman. According to certain records, it was a piece of black metal or ancient stone, shaped like a spiral, covered in bizarre runes that defy translation. It glows faintly in the presence of supernatural beings. Some fans describe it as a tree-shaped elder sign, the symbol of the elder gods. But this is Lovecraft, not Disney. Tiog declared he would defeat Ghatanothoa. He rejected blind faith, and that made the temple priests hate him. One high-ranking priest within the temple of Mu, a secret worshipper of Ghatanothoa, secretly swapped the real talisman for a fake one. And the result, when Tiog entered the shrine of Ghatanothoa, holding the fake talisman, he was instantly mummified. His body turned to stone, skin cracked, eyes wide open, but his mind remained fully conscious. His body was sealed inside an iron sarcophagus. And thousands of years later, it was discovered in a museum in Boston. That is the core of the entire story, out of the aeons. You see, some entities don't need to act. They only need to exist, and their existence is already a punishment. The next entity is a great old one named Ygolonak. And I swear, if the great old ones had a group chat, he would have been the first one kicked out. Ygolonak, also called the Faceless One, is the embodiment of forbidden desire, the corruption of knowledge and the perversion of the human mind. His appearance? A naked, bloated, slimy human body with no head. Instead, 2 hands sprouting from his neck, human mouths with teeth and tongues. They speak, eat, and whisper things that should not be heard. Unlike other great old ones, he needs no virgin blood, no blood moon, no elaborate rituals, just a sealed room, a mirror, and a body willing to listen. Whoever knows his name, whoever craves him, whoever imagines him, can summon him. Ygolonak spreads through thought. Just reading a passage about him, or thinking too deeply, may let him in. You'll see him in dreams, and then he'll enter you. He dwells in a dark dimension, outside reality, a place accessible only through thought or by invoking forbidden texts. Wherever he has appeared, witnesses report. Objects melting for no reason, repeating whispers from inside the walls, art and photographs becoming distorted, and some people growing mouths on their hands. His cult is called the Unseen Mouth, or the Order of the Faceless God. They're small, quiet, just scattered cells, hiding in forests of England, Europe, or working behind the scenes in publishing, printing things that should never be read. Their tactic is simple. They blend into underground media, illicit art, and corrupted culture. They only need a sentence, a suggestive description, just enough to plant a vague image in someone's mind, and Ygolonak steps through. Those who become his hosts, first, they think about him constantly, then they begin to dream of him. Next, their body starts to change. Finally, their face vanishes, and mouths grow from their hands, and their consciousness is shoved far behind. And the worst part is, the host is still aware. They're just forced to witness everything he does. But let's leave this corrupted creature behind. Now we move to a great old one named Eihort, the Pale Beast. Eihort dwells in a maze beneath the earth, somewhere in England, often described as an ancient tomb or the ruins of a long-forgotten city. Despite countless geological surveys, no location has ever matched the descriptions given by survivors. I lean toward a different theory, that this maze doesn't exist in our physical world, but in a warped dimension, much like the domain of Ygolonak. It may exist in dreams, or somewhere on the edge between waking reality and nightmare. Some records describe the place as damp, living walls that breathe and moan, dim, sourceless light, bleeding from the very air, a pulsing sound, like the heartbeat of some vast being or whispers in a tongue no human has ever known. Eihort's form? A pale, rolling mass of semi-transparent flesh, covered in tiny black eyes, crawling on thousands of dry skeletal limbs. His victims, wanderers, failed sorcerers, or simply people who woke up in the wrong dream. No one escapes the maze on their own. Within it, Eihort offers a choice. Simple, fair, unavoidable. Accept its seed or die. The seed is a living parasite, implanted deep into the body. The host continues to live a normal life until Eihort calls them. Then, the thing inside bursts out. There are two kinds of people affected, hosts and the chosen. Hosts, ordinary vessels. They're forcibly implanted with Eihort's spawn. They might be captured by a cult, lost in the maze, or they accidentally consumed something from Eihort. They're given no knowledge, no power, just a body to hatch the egg. When the egg matures, the host usually dies instantly or mutates beyond recognition. Some try suicide, others go to doctors, and that's when two nightmare scenarios appear. Both are equally horrifying. First possibility, the seed won't let the host die, at least not until it finishes its cycle. The body may lose consciousness or appear clinically dead, but it continues to function, just enough. There are reports stating the man was found hanging, but the corpse still moved as if something inside was pulling the strings. Second possibility, doctors open up the host and find nothing. Everything looks normal until the body begins to rot from the inside. Some records describe something inside the abdomen growing like a fetus, wet light, pulsing. When removed, the creature usually dies, but the victim's mind remains tethered to Eihort. They continue dreaming of corridors and of light. In one case, the glowing mass exploded, releasing dozens of parasites. The entire clinic was sealed off forever. The brood of Eihort, the spawn hatched from its eggs. They have no fixed form, but often share traits: translucent bodies, centipede-like legs, tiny black eyes lining the spine, soft fur, and hidden among the fur, teeth. They emit a faint glow like fireflies. But the light causes migraines, nausea, even internal bleeding if stared at too long. They lack clear consciousness. Some move instinctively, others whisper, stalk, as if part of something larger. Some believe Eihort does not give birth. It splits itself into living clumps, each one a festering wound in a shared hive mind. They resist physical harm, heal rapidly, and emit disorienting light, making people dizzy, paranoid, or toothless. Some continue the cycle, implanting new eggs into fresh hosts, a nightmare that never ends. The chosen of Eihort, those who accepted the pact. They're also implanted, but not turned into breeding chambers. Instead, they become guides, servants, or preachers of what lies beneath. Not everyone undergoes physical transformation, but almost all suffer changes of the mind. Some of the chosen don't even know they've been chosen. They simply feel compelled to fulfill some mission they don't understand. Others can open hallways, lead newcomers, or serve as gatekeepers. Whether host or chosen, in the end, both are nothing more than tools of Eihort. Now we move on to the final entity for today, a great old one, named Thylla, also known as the secret daughter of Cthulhu. I've searched ancient manuscripts, dug into forbidden archives, even accessed the records of the last surviving witch-hunting orders. And the result? Like many of these entities, what we know is fragmented, broken shards of a lost nightmare. What I'm about to tell you is speculation, a patchwork of scattered sources. Most accounts describe Thylla as a giant octopoid creature, but some say otherwise. Some records claim Cthulhu is no longer just a mass of tentacles, but a cursed humanoid form, huge, blood-red, with tattered bat wings, eyes burning gold like dying stars, sprouting from a face replaced by writhing tentacles. Some say this form is the one she chooses when approaching humans, a parody, both familiar and horrifyingly wrong. Others believe that's not the real Cthulhu, but one of her vessel forms, a secondary body used to walk unseen among her followers. Whatever she is, this being does not belong to our world, and seeing her might rot your mind from the inside out. Thylla's symbol is a double spiral. It represents the bloodline of Cthulhu, self-replicating. Some accounts describe a fetus resting inside an open eye. This sigil is known as the Seed of the Sleeper. Unlike Dagon or Hydra, Thylla is not worshipped publicly. She has no grand temples, no large cults, no esoteric order of her own. She doesn't act as a messenger or a link between humans and higher beings. Her existence serves a different purpose entirely. Cthulhu is a contingency plan. If one day Cthulhu is destroyed, she will take his place. If she were worshipped openly, she would draw too much attention, from hostile organizations or from those who never wanted Cthulhu to return. Of course, Cthulhu cannot be killed, or at least not in any way humans can understand. These beings are not immortal biologically. They are immortal as concepts. They can dissolve, be sealed away, or sunk beneath the sea, but they do not die. So Thylla is not an heir. She is a biological backup, an egg, placed somewhere else, as a safeguard. Some writings from the Cult of the Starry Wisdom and the Esoteric Order of Dagon point to her current location, the city of Ye, a place protected by the Deep Ones and a species called Yugya. Ye is the city of the Nameless. It appears on no maps. It's mentioned in no scripture, no cartography. Only a few torn notes remain, hidden in the brittle scrolls of the Cult of Dagon. Ye lies deep beneath the sea, so deep light cannot reach it. Those who once communicated with its inhabitants all said the same thing. Ye is not built of stone, but of thought. The walls do not touch, yet they hold shape, and at the center lies a breathing egg. I'm not sure if it's true, and I'm not sure I want to find out. All I know is, if Cthulhu is ever truly destroyed, ye will not remain silent. Thylla will awaken, and everything will begin again. I was going to say more, but something just moved behind me. It was just the floorboards creaking. I'm sure that's all it was. Probably the wind. Or maybe I've said their true names too many times. Either way, I have a small problem to deal with. Well, a rather large one. See you again in the deeper layers of this universe. And remember, if you dream of a city not found on any map, don't walk in.